during the aftermath of the Iraq War. Matthew, a skilled sniper, and his partner Isaac find themselves stranded in the war-torn red zone, unaware that the conflict has ended. Isaac's keen sense of wind direction and fire regulation has always been invaluable to Matthew, but their skills are put to the test when they stumble upon a site where 8 American soldiers were brutally killed by the notorious sniper Juba. Juba, a legendary Iraqi marksman, was believed to have taken down up to 75 American soldiers in one go without ever revealing his location. With the danger of Juba lurking in the shadows, Matthew and Isaac have no choice but to stay hidden behind a crumbling wall for almost 20 hours, staying in their position. After spending a grueling 20 hours in the same spot, Matthew grows restless and decides to venture out of his hiding place towards the wall where his fellow soldiers lay dead. Isaac stays back to keep watch, relying on his keen eyesight to track Matthew's movements. As Matthew approaches the wall, he carefully examines each fallen comrade, only to make a chilling discovery: every soldier had been shot in the head with a single, precise bullet. The realization that a skilled sniper is on the loose begins to weigh heavily on Matthew's mind, even as he presses on. In a sudden turn of events, Matthew is hit by a bullet from an unknown location. He's left exposed and wounded, while Isaac is also shot in the knee. The two soldiers scramble for cover behind the wall, hoping to evade their attacker's next move. Matthew urges Isaac to call for backup, but their communications equipment has been damaged by the sniper's bullet. With no way to contact their headquarters, the soldiers are left to fend for themselves. Despite their dire circumstances, Matthew remains determined to take out the enemy sniper. He enlists Isaac's help in calculating the distance of the shot, hoping to pinpoint the sniper's location. Isaac improvises, using rocks to prop up his binoculars and scan the area for any sign of their attacker. As they work to identify the sniper's location, Matthew is struck by another bullet and falls unconscious. Meanwhile, Isaac tries to remove the bullet lodged in his knee, but the pain proves too much and he too loses consciousness. Isaac wakes up to the sound of a voice on his local radio. The voice claims to be from the U.S. Army and offers medical assistance by air, but first asks Isaac to identify himself. Isaac is relieved at the prospect of rescue, but his elation quickly turns to suspicion as he realizes that the voice on the radio has an unfamiliar accent. As the voice instructs Isaac to stand up and fire a shot into the air, Isaac begins to suspect that he's being set up. He knows that firing a shot would reveal his location to the enemy, and he refuses to do so. His suspicions are confirmed when the voice on the radio reveals that he's actually the mysterious sniper who's been targeting them all along. Isaac found himself in a tense and dangerous game of cat and mouse with the mysterious sniper, who seemed to be toying with him. As the sniper bombarded him with questions, Isaac tried to locate his position, but the sniper was too skilled at concealing himself. However, Isaac noticed a radio belonging to one of the fallen soldiers a few meters away, and he slowly began crawling towards it, hoping to use it to call for help. But the odds were against him, and he was trapped behind the wall. Isaac had no choice but to continue chatting with the sniper, hoping for a chance to turn the tables. Suddenly, Isaac heard a faint sound, like objects rubbing together, and he realized that the sniper was hiding among the piles of garbage. It was evident that the sniper had been staking out the area for days, displaying a high level of focus and determination in his pursuit of Isaac. As Isaac tried to evade his attacker, he grew convinced that the sniper was the infamous Juba, a skilled sniper from Iraq. Overwhelmed by the threat of Juba, Isaac contemplated taking his own life. However, he mustered the courage to stand up and began devising a plan to outsmart Juba and locate his position. Isaac's first attempt involved creating a makeshift decoy using a wooden pole and his helmet. Regrettably, the helmet fell off, resulting in Juba ridiculing Isaac's efforts. Isaac finally saw his chance to strike when a gust of wind kicked up dust and obstructed Juba's vision. Without hesitation, Isaac crept toward the fallen soldier to grab the radio he desperately needed. As he took cover, Isaac discovered a much-needed lifeline: a bottle of water and some food in the soldier's bag. He eagerly gobbled up the rations, feeling his strength returning. Isaac's spirits lifted even more when he heard a familiar voice on the radio. It was Matthew, who had just regained consciousness. Isaac quickly informed Matthew of Juba's location, hoping that he would be able to seize his rifle and end the nightmare once and for all. Matthew began to make his way toward his weapon, taking advantage of the wind and dust that had concealed his movements. To distract Juba, Isaac resorted to a risky ploy. He pretended to be dead, firing his weapon into the sky to create a diversion. The plan seemed to be working when Matthew finally took his shot, but it missed its mark. Before he could take cover, Juba fired back, striking Matthew and taking him down. Isaac's heart sank as he watched his comrade fall. He knew that their situation had become even more dire, and their chances of survival were dwindling. As Juba continued to rain bullets down on them, Isaac urged Matthew to retreat behind a nearby wall. Tragically, Juba's unrelenting barrage proved too much for Matthew to withstand, and he was soon struck down by the sniper's deadly aim. The hope that had fueled Isaac's efforts dissipated, leaving him feeling defeated and desperate to escape the deadly battlefield. Despite their best efforts, they had failed to locate Juba's position, leaving them to wonder if he was really hiding behind a garbage heap or somewhere else entirely. Isaac was alone and vulnerable, with only his own wits and courage to protect him. His mind was consumed by grief and despair over the loss of his friend, and he knew that it was only a matter of time before Juba found him. But despite his overwhelming sense of hopelessness, Isaac refused to give up. He knew that he had to stay alert and resourceful if he wanted to stay alive. In a moment of desperation, Isaac seized the radio belonging to the fallen soldier, hoping to call for reinforcements and escape Juba's deadly clutches. But his plans were quickly foiled when Juba intercepted his radio frequency, disguising his voice and luring unsuspecting soldiers to their deaths in the desert. Isaac's worst fears were confirmed when Juba revealed that he had been waiting for them all along, disguised among the bodies of dead soldiers. He had lured them into a trap, using his deadly skills to take out each of their comrades one by one. Isaac knew that he couldn't let Juba claim any more victims. With the rescue team on their way, he had to act fast if he wanted to prevent Juba from slaughtering any more soldiers. With nothing left to lose, Isaac tore down the protective wall around him and prepared to face Juba head-on. He took aim at the spot where he thought Juba was hiding and opened fire, unleashing a barrage of shots in a desperate attempt to take down the deadly sniper. The air filled with the deafening sound of gunfire as the two snipers engaged in a brutal and tense battle. Each shot fired was a calculated risk, a bid for survival in a deadly game of cat and mouse. The tension was palpable as each soldier fought for their life, knowing that a single mistake could mean the end of the road. In a moment of intense concentration, Isaac's instincts took over as he fired a shot that found its mark, hitting Juba with lethal accuracy. With Juba defeated, Isaac felt a sense of relief wash over him, knowing that he had finally accomplished his mission. Just as the dust was settling, two helicopters appeared on the horizon, the rescue team that Juba had called for. With Juba's plan foiled, the helicopters arrived to find a battlefield strewn with debris and the body of the legendary sniper lying lifeless on the ground. Isaac stood up, waving his arms to signal the helicopters, his heart pounding with adrenaline as he awaited his rescue. The team quickly swooped in, taking Isaac away from the war zone and back to headquarters, where he could receive the medical attention he needed. As the evacuation team rushed to carry Isaac to safety, they were ambushed by a surprise attack. From behind a pile of garbage, Juba, who they had believed was already dead, opened fire on the team and their helicopter. The chaos ensued as the team members were picked off one by one. During the attack, Isaac desperately tried to locate Juba's position, hoping to end the violence. However, Juba's relentless shooting had already damaged the helicopter's engine, leaving Isaac and the entire team helpless. Unfortunately, they were all killed in the brutal attack. Tragically, after Isaac and the rest of the rescue team were killed, Juba seized the opportunity to deceive once again. He tampered with the radio frequency, posing as the rescue team and calling for reinforcements to be sent to the location. This was the same strategy he had used to deadly effect before, managing to take out 75 American soldiers in one fell swoop. The Ghost's nickname for him proved true. Juba was a master of deception, taking out his enemies one by one without revealing his position. His deadly tactics resulted in many casualties and earned him the title of the most accomplished sniper in Iraq. The moral that can be learned from this movie is, in the face of inevitable destiny or death, it's important to resist making rash decisions and to cling to any remaining hope.